Veronica Stanica, and you're watching PHTV4. And today we're putting on the spotlight Toastmasters of Palos Heights, the local chapter of the international organization Toastmasters, whose goal is to help you develop your public speaking skills, improve communication skills, and develop leadership skills. So with us today is Ashleen, a member of Toastmasters. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ashleen.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with you and the benefits that you've gained at Toastmasters, or rather, the benefits and your role.
Well, my role now is recruitment. So it's my job to encourage people like yourselves, chamber members, business folks, local people, even high school students, people that really want to improve their speaking skills to come to Toastmasters. That's pretty much my role, is the recruitment and retention.
And when did you join?
I actually joined right after Chuck Burns started the group. He started back in 2017 and I joined about 6 months in. So I'm a member already 3 years.
And then what prompted you to join? Why did you feel that interest to take part in Toastmasters?
I don't remember actually, Veronica, how I heard about it, but I had heard nothing but good things. Mm-hmm. So I was curious and I just went to kind of see, well, let's see what it's all about. And I went to several different clubs, and when I went to the Palos Heights clubs, I just fell in love with the people. I fell in love with what they were doing. I actually thought it was very funny at the time, but then I wasn't trying to speak. I was just observing. And then the fun really started when I joined.
Oh, finally you made the decision. Can you elaborate for us, what is Toastmasters exactly?
Toastmasters is really a place, a very welcoming and supportive place where you can grow as a business professional or a student. And it's a very supportive atmosphere, all positivity, where you learn to speak better, right? So there may be some people out there that are very, very shy and don't like public speaking. In fact, 73% of our population suffer anxiety when anybody mentions public speaking.
That would be me.
Yes. No, well, that's a thing that you work through in Toastmasters, and what I love about it most is nobody likes to be critiqued, certainly from a negative point of view. The really nice thing that gravitated me towards joining Toastmasters was when I observed them, they were so extremely friendly and they were classy, in the sense that if they saw that you could improve on something, it was said in a very nice way from a positive perspective. And that's what I loved, because there's a lot of people out there who are very shy, very timid, and then there's people out there who are good speakers, but maybe they might come across as being maybe a little bit boisterous or aggressive. So those people can come in and can learn to maybe tone it down a little bit or speak slower. Maybe their vocal rate is very, very fast. So all of these things are done from people like yourself and myself who are members, and we get to be the front row people who can critique from a positive point of view.
So you're talking about the ability to improve your communication skills.
Yes.
Why is it important to communicate? What's the purpose of that?
Well, my personal opinion is that we fail in life every day because people perceive different things from the way we communicate. And communication is so very important. In fact, it's vital to the success of anything you do. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a mother, you need to be able to speak clearly and concisely and from a very focal point of view with a structure. And that's a skill set. Not everybody has it. And really, when you join Toastmasters, they help you to become that person. Not overnight. Nothing happens, in a fast manner, but continually coming and improving and seeing different things, you become a better person. And I think everybody wants to do better in life, no matter where they work. It could be maybe somebody who's starting out, a college student in a big company, and they really want to grow in that company over years. And for that to happen, it won't just be their work ethic and showing up every day on time. They'll need to be different and they'll need to stand out. And that's what Toastmasters does for folks. It really helps them stand out and kind of learn their style, so to speak. What is their communication style?
Oh, that's interesting. We have our own hues, like what colors go with our complexion, and now we have our own distinct communication styles as well. So in the process of communicating well, you're gaining stronger relationships. You're marketing yourself to the public.
Yes, yes, and you're gaining respect from others, and others gravitate towards people who are leaders. So it actually teaches you how to be a leader. Some people don't want to be leaders, and that's okay too. But even to be a good follower, you still need to be able to communicate properly. And Toastmasters is really good for folks who have teams in office structures, and that's where the importance of the communication style and brand is very, very important, that you can articulate to your teams, through your teams, and get the feedback and the productivity that you need.
That's awesome. So how often do you meet and where do you meet?
Well, that's another thing that I love about Toastmasters, because there's nobody keeping a roll call, so to speak. So we do meet twice a month. It's the first and third Monday of every single month in the Payless Heights Library. And when you become a member, of course, to get full value, it's nice to be there, but sometimes you can't be there for whatever reason, and you're not scolded for not showing up. Of course, the more you show up, the better and more efficient you become at public speaking, the more relationships that you build. It's not a huge commitment. 2 nights per month is not a bad commitment. I think everybody can manage that.
And what happens at the meetings for those who haven't gone?
So the meetings, for those that may join, the first meeting is a little bit, I suppose, professional, so to speak, insofar as you've been there, you know. There's a structure. There's a very formal structure, and every meeting follows that structure. And there's players who take on certain roles, such as grammarian, timer, general evaluator, and then an evaluator for a speech, to mention just a few. There's the dreaded table topics master. Everybody hates that section because that's where you're literally thrown out there and you have to stand on your feet, think fast, and speak for 2 minutes. We don't care whether you lie, we don't care whether you know anything about the topic, but you have to speak. And that's quite overwhelming and intimidating the first night that you arrive. So if anybody wants to come as a guest and witnesses that, don't run. Come back, because it gets easier each time you come back. So pretty much every meeting has that format. And then as a member, like myself, there's certain things that you can do inside in Toastmasters. There's certain structured paths called pathways. And you, as a business professional, as a student, as just a person who wants to do better for themselves, you can follow whatever pathway you want, and then you prepare speeches, and then you are critiqued, so to speak, in a positive manner after you deliver those speeches.
It's very nurturing, the manner where you get the feedback.
It is.
So we have 2 great websites for your viewers. One is, or for rather our viewers, is to check out. One is for the International Toastmasters, and one for the Toastmasters of Payless Heights. Those are 2 websites. A lot of good information can be found there. And how does one go about joining? What are the requirements?
So there isn't actually any specific requirements. Toastmasters is not going to not let anybody join. Everybody can join, and we don't discriminate who you are or where you're coming from. Everybody's welcome. To join, there is a fee. It can be paid twice a year. I believe it's $63. So you're talking about $126 a year for professional growth, which is nothing.
True.
Which is nothing. And then after that, you decide which path you're going to go on. I would say to people that are interested in joining, not to even worry about following the professional paths in Pathways. I myself was one of those people who joined, and I sat there at the back of the room for probably 9 months before I ever did any sort of a speech. Yes, it was a long time, because I wanted to feel comfortable. I really wanted to know my surrounding. I didn't want to put myself out there and make a fool of myself. I didn't want to be embarrassed. So I let everybody do that over 9 months, and then I started to look at all the things that I could do. I looked at different things that they were doing that I said I didn't want to do, and then I decided one day, okay, you've been here 9 months, now you need to step it up.
So what was the trigger? What was the, okay, I'm ready?
I think a comfort level. I think it's very overwhelming when you go in the first night, maybe even the second night. And for those that are listening, they can come as a guest twice. And I actually don't think they're too strict. You can probably come for a guest 3 times to find that comfort level. For me, I had to feel comfortable, and I felt like a stranger the first couple of months, and I just couldn't figure out this format. I thought it was incredibly formal, didn't understand the podium, the gavel, didn't understand the roles. And then they ask you, would you like to be involved? So I took little roles, like the grammarian is a very easy role to take. Then I took the timer role. That was really easy to take. And then Chuck Burns really pushed me one night when somebody didn't show up for a role they signed up, and he said, Ashton, can you do it? And I thought, no, I can't. And he said, oh, but you can. And I did, and I got over the nerves, and that's really where it all starts. You got to kind of jump in with both feet and get your toes wet.
Well, I'm sure that was a beautiful moment too,
Oh.
because that launched your success, and now I see you during the Toastmaster meetings, and you are just phenomenal.
Oh, well, thank you.
I wish to emulate your style and your presentation, so I'm working towards
And
that.
you will, Veronica, you will.
And what if someone is shy, reserved? Should they still join Toastmasters, and why?
Most definitely. You've seen, because you've come to a couple of the meetings, we have some really younger folks that are in there as well. And I even say to children that are in schools, maybe that are being bullied, or people who are very smart and on the debate team, there's a place for all of you at Toastmasters, because we invest in people, and we're good people in these groups that go there. If you are that person who's shy, that's okay. You're probably always going to be shy, but at some stage in life, you're still going to have to be able to speak up for yourself or for others that are in your life. And that's where Toastmasters really puts the platform in front of you to stand on. I think it would really help high school kids that are struggling or that are very, very timid and shy, because everybody has a voice. You just need to learn how to use it.
And I have to add, having gone to a couple of Toastmaster meetings at Palos Heights, I love seeing the older people.
Yes.
They're retired,
Yes.
but they haven't, just sat on the couch, and jumping on potato chips or anything like that.
Right.
Like, they're very
Right.
active. They're engaged, and they still have these personal goals.
Yes.
That was just beautiful.
And it's interesting that you say that, Veronica, because COVID has really affected a lot of the senior population in more ways than we even realize yet. We'll have to wait for that data to come in years from now. But here's one thing that I do know with COVID, that it is super important to be around other people and to be able to be in that setting. And for our seniors that are out there, I encourage you to, yes, come on out, whether you're retired or not. You have so much to give. And even listening to their stories, they wouldn't even have to prepare proper speeches, because their stories are amazing. They really are gems. And older people are very mature. They've been around the block a couple of times. I would love to see the senior population getting involved, A, from the point of view of learning the structure, B, educating us, the listeners, and we get to evaluate them, and thirdly, just from a point of view of getting rid of that isolation and coming on out and being around other people. I think it's something we really should encourage.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So what are the professional and personal benefits of joining the Toastmasters? So you're getting out of your bubble, you're being challenged, and what are the other professional and personal benefits, do you think?
Well, for me, as you know, I'm a business owner. I think it's very important to be able to communicate, right? Most especially being a woman, it's a little bit harder. I don't know that 100% you're taken seriously all the time because you're a woman business owner. So there's certain ways in Toastmaster that you can communicate better, right? And again, that's a skill set. So for me personally, it's very good when I sit down, we'll say, for example, with families, that I'm communicating what I can and what I can't do in a proper and professional manner. Then from the employees and from students' point of view, I do a lot of speaking, I do a lot of continuing education. For me, I always want to keep growing, and in order to grow, I kind of go back to Toastmasters to get fed, because I don't know everything. And when you go through the pathways, they do get harder and harder and harder, and you really have to structure your speeches and your presentations, and there's a skill set to it. You look at any public speaker, they don't just get up on the stage and start talking. They've probably been preparing for hours and months, and they make it look so easy, but it's not. It's a skill set, and it takes a lot of time and dedication. And for me, for where I want to go in my professional life, I need Toastmasters, and I want to continue to keep growing.
And the fact that you're investing so much of your time and effort, and you're willing to take on the challenge, just says to you yourself and those around you that I'm worth it,
Right.
I'm of value, So I think that's really important. So as a businesswoman, you've joined Toastmasters, you've seen your communications skills enhance. Do you feel it has benefited your business overall? Do you feel like there's been some kind of growth?
I do, because I think when you're able to articulate clearly, people take you more seriously. I don't know if you've ever seen people what I call babble, waffle, and you're embarrassed for them, even though they may be a CEO of a company. It's very important to be able to articulate. And I think for me, one of the things that I want to do, not only just in my personal life and in my business, is I want to encourage the younger folks, we'll say, that are coming into healthcare today, for example, our CNAs. They're a voice that's not always heard. And I would love if the students from the school that we have, in addition to employees, invest in Toastmasters. And I've put these posters up and people have said to me, oh gosh, I've heard about that. What's it about? So that's encouraging in getting the word out, because we want people to be able to do better for themselves. And the only way that's going to happen is you hit the nail on the head, investing in yourself and investing the time, not necessarily about the money. It's about the commitment and how serious are you in wanting to get yourself to the next level.
Absolutely, because you're going to be the person who's going to do that. No one else around you will do that.
Nobody can do it for you.
No. So public speaking makes a lot of people nervous or uncomfortable. So how do you help the new members or the members who are very shy and experience anxiety? How do you make them feel a bit more comfortable?
Well, just so the audience understands the format, when guests do come that first night, we always ask the guests for their feedback. So I think when you include people, first of all, they're very comfortable and they don't have a problem telling you what they thought of the meeting. Where it gets maybe challenging is where that table topics comes up. We do ask the guests, would you like to speak? But we respect. If you said absolutely not, and you've seen it happens, people say, oh my gosh, no, I'm not able. We respect that and we understand that, and we don't force people to do something they don't want to do. So I think that in itself encourages people to come back. And then when they come back again, like I said, I was there for 9 months. I never got up to speak. There was no way I was getting up to speak. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And they understood that, and so did everybody in the room. And I think that's what's important, because it is such a supportive, welcoming environment. No one's going to push you until you're ready.
Yes, yeah.
And that's important.
And when is your next meeting, and where is it?
Our next meeting is going to be the day after Labor Day, and it'll be at the Palos Heights Library. And we usually start at about 6:45 is the official start time. Folks come from 6:15 to 6:30, and we kind of just chat and have a little bit of banter. And I forgot to mention, Veronica, I have met more friends in Toastmasters that have become friends, not just people that show up every 2 weeks. It's very... there's a lot of camaraderie in there, really, really nice people in Palos Heights and Orland and other surrounding areas. So even that is beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. And I also like the structure of Toastmasters. I love the way that, you come into the first door and you're immediately greeted.
Yes.
And then you're carried within the room. You're not
Yes.
left on your own. So I just love that high level of concierge service, that high level of care for that person. Because they're coming in. They might be shy or they might be bold, but whatever, you're still being very conscientious.
And you don't actually know who's walking into that room. You don't know where they've come from. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know why they've come. You just know that they've come because they've heard something. So you want to make I always say in my life that you only get one opportunity to make your first impression. So I think when people feel welcomed and supported, they want to come back.
Yeah, I agree. Any closing thoughts or information you want to share with our audience?
Just to say that everybody's always saying, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. And I would say to you, stop the nonsense. You need to invest in yourself if you really want to improve as a person and as a professional. Then just come. There's no pressure to stay. Come see what the meeting is like. We hope you come a second time, and I believe you can even come a third time, and we will answer and address any questions that you have that you don't understand, in the hopes that you will become a member and be part of the Toastmasters family here in Palos Heights.
Thank you. Well, Aisling, thank you so much for joining us today. Best of luck with Toastmasters.
Thanks,
and
Veronica.
as I said before, I look forward to emulating your speaking style. It's very graceful and professional. I'm Veronica Stanica, and you've been watching Spotlight Toastmasters.